Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
There you go.
Good to
You
go.
can get it. You can leave the desk and go sit down and put it on TV if you cast it over.
Yes.
That I've actually done, and it's a lot more enjoyable than looking at the little screen. And obviously, there's a delay.
All right.
Let's see. No.
You don't need to have it on.
Go. Well, I can take the no thanks off here, right?
Okay, I just confirmed.
You can
I can
close
see
this
us.
window if you want.
All right, which window's open? The other one up here?
Or just at least mute it here. Right back here.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, we all here? Let me make noise, otherwise I think we're dead. We're mute here.
I'm here.
There you go.
Okay. Sure.
Joey, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I think you guys got it. Give me coffee. Get stuck.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank
Yep.
you, Joey.
Bye. Okay. I call to order the Poolsville Park Board Monday, April 12, 2021 meeting. And of course, after getting the blade, my dogs are nuts. Okay, I think she's done. Present are.
Your dog is now bothering my dogs.
Present are Jeff Eck, myself, Preston King, Tim Pike, Gail Partain, Terry Pierce, and Jeff McIntyre. Next meeting is May 5, which is coming up sooner than usual. If anything changes and makes it so that we shouldn't or don't need to have another one, I will let everybody know.
Hey,
Right.
when do we normally do our park walkthroughs? Don't we do one in the springtime or
April, May.
We do, and it would be great to have another one. Yeah.
We could do the proper distancing. I wouldn't mind doing that next May. I mean, next end of the 5th.
Okay. That might work. Yeah. So, which parks do you want to walk? We don't usually get through all of them.
No, I think last year we did Halmos. Let's do the skateboard park. We haven't been up there in a while, and we got a few things that we need to talk about up there.
Okay.
And I think that'd be a good park. And
Yeah.
and another one would be Stevens if we wanted to do two. There's two parks
Okay.
that we need to discuss future things with.
Okay.
Is this an in-person walkthrough at the actual location?
Yes, we
Yes,
leave
yep.
the parking lot and we walk through, and everybody kind of looks around and we'll, go over the future of the park area, because I think the skateboard park, they're talking about now that potentially that center grass area might become the youth center they've been talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Which is why it was designed initially.
what's that?
Which is why it was designed initially to have
Yep.
that spot there.
Yes.
What time do you guys want to meet? Usually meet an hour before?
Yeah, but are we gonna run? We're gonna have enough sunlight to get all the way through those two? Like, what time is it
Well,
now?
in all honesty, it doesn't get dark until about 8:15, 8:30.
Yeah,
We would at least get through Dillingham Park.
okay, so 6, 7,
That's
6:30?
6:30.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're opening town hall up in May, so we might be able to go across the street back to town hall.
Okay,
That'd be good.
all right. Let's make it 6:30. Everybody
At
go
the
with
skate
that?
park?
Yeah,
Then
skate
we
park.
have this. Then we have this meeting at 7, right?
And look, if we have legitimate, I would contemplate that this is all we do at that meeting, is go through those parks. Usually it will take that long, if not more.
Okay. And then we would not have
And oftentimes we can take care of the business, especially if we know what what's really on the agenda. If something, like you said, comes up hot, we'll flexible with that. But Yeah,
Normally, it's just a walk through the parks. That's normally what we
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Okay,
Do we decide it's
Approval of-
6:30?
yeah, 6:30. Approval of minutes from February 3rd. I don't remember seeing any yet. I don't know if that means that Kathy hasn't done them. Who did them in February? Anybody remember? May have.
Terry or Pat? Terry did, right?
Pat?
I thought it was
The
Terry.
trainer's done it on occasion. He may have done that
I think it
one.
was Pat. I don't think I did the minutes.
I think it
Well,
was
let's-
Pat.
Let's search and see what we have.
Okay.
Oh, here, I got it. I can look.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my folder of them, my file of them over here, but I only ended up with one, not. So is anybody tuned in from YouTube? You should be able to see the number down there, right? I'm just curious.
I can go back and look.
Did we figure out who had the approval of the minutes, I mean?
No, so I didn't really know who took them.
Down there, right? I'm just curious.
That's the meeting we talked about, Campbell Park, the Girl Scout poll.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then Preston talked about stocking the ponds.
Yep.
I don't know who took the notes.
all right, well, if nothing else, I'll end up talking to you, Tim, and we'll get something into town hall.
Okay. I can,
Yeah.
Doug, I've got my notes too if needed.
All
Okay,
right, if you need,
all
we
right.
can put some together. All right.
Yeah, send them me both and we'll,
All right.
we'll go from there.
Good enough.
Okay,
I'm connected to YouTube, and so including me, there are 4 people watching.
okay, one of them might be me as well, because I think we got.
All right, so there's 2.
And probably some family members, huh? Doug?
Actually, no, but yeah. The dog.
All right, I'm off.
Okay, so we'll have to wait till next meeting for the approval of February minutes. On to old business. A lot of what we have today is kind of touching base and making sure that we all know where things are and what we can do to help. So Hughes Road and speed humps. What's the status, Preston? Is it still?
I believe John Strong is still looking into the cost associated with that. And that's, bumping out the turn lane and the cut through for the thing. So we're still waiting on John Strong for the pricing on that.
I thought, no, he gave that already at the last meeting.
Did he give it to us?
Yeah,
Let me see.
it's the last commissioners meeting, yeah.
What, the commissioners meeting?
Yeah,
Not
because
with us though.
well, Hughes Road speed humps, but it was approved by us, and it was approved by.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the intersection at
Tom Fox and Hughes.
Hughes Road. Oh,
They approved that too.
No, the speed humps. I think it's a go with the next time they do the road,
Yeah. Okay.
and I think it's
And-
built into the price because see now we own the road all the way down to
Right.
Down to the where Tom Fox comes back out. So
Right.
I know they're on it. It's just I don't know what the pricing was, but that it's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine.
And then the other one you were thinking of Tom Fox Avenue and Hughes Road. That's the one you were thinking.
The price that we
And that's a go too, if I remember correctly.
yes, but I don't think there was a price associated with it yet, was there? I'll check with John.
I think there was. I thought they actually started putting stakes out there and marking the.
No, that's because that lot was sold on the corner. There's a house
Oh, okay.
in there.
Okay.
That's why the stakes are there.
Did we
All
talk about
right.
that in January?
What's that, sir?
I think we spoke about that in January.
Yes, and I thought we were waiting for a price.
Yeah, now see, hang on, my notes, so for you, I'm glad you said that. My notes for January said Hughes Road speed humps, 3,500.
3,500, yeah.
Yeah,
And Tom Fox
Yeah.
Avenue and Hughes Road intersection improvements, that they were approved.
Yeah.
and
Now those are our meetings. I don't recall, I don't know whether I get to go fishing a little bit for the commissioners.
and they're still getting the budget together. We got to make sure that at least they put some money away for it. So when it happens on there, but I'll get a hold of John Strong, see if he has a.
I bet it happens quick because you're gonna have that lot in there. If that lot's sold, we got to be done doing what we want to it before it closes, don't we? I mean, we as a town.
Well, I don't believe the entrance is there. I think their entrance is going to come off of Tom Fox side. They might have
Okay.
nothing to do with that
Okay.
one there. But anyways, I'll like I said, I'll get a hold of John and see what I can find out.
Okay. Yeah. Bike racks.
I think Pat was going to talk about that, right?
Yeah. I spoke to him briefly today, and if he wasn't going to be available, I think he's like the rest of us, that we think it would be a nice thing. We should probably do a couple of them, but it's not a priority. Now, the other question is, though, if we have a chunk of money budgeted for parks under CIP, do those bicycle racks count as CIP? You know, Preston?
I don't know if they. I would say yes, we can do that under that CIP.
Yeah.
Because I think we have $82,000.
Yeah.
with
83. Yeah.
I think we could do the bike racks, and I do have a large project I'd like to finish up that will take a good chunk of that. We'll discuss that when we get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
What?
I think Pat was still looking into the bike racks, I believe.
yeah, he and yeah.
We were looking into the bike racks from a directive from the commissioners, correct? To find out what it would cost and report back to them.
I believe that's right.
It was so long ago. Yeah, a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We
Probably.
just gotta, okay.
All right. Now, the next item is the farmer's market. Now, I think that I think the town hall had received a few comments with respect to the farmer's market. I think some were bad and some were good. But beyond that, I'm not sure. I mean, what have you guys heard?
The email I saw, the email I saw was that people had COVID concerns, I guess, wasn't it? That's what, at least the email I thought that was sent out.
Basically, what the concerns that have been brought to the town's attention, were they following Montgomery County COVID protocols, proper distancing, count of people, and because if people have driven by and there's a lot of people, then sometimes there's no people, and they concerned that with an event, there's, I believe, supposed to be a counter and make sure the numbers don't swell, proper distancing. I don't know if there's anybody out there measuring or setting the cones out, saying, hey, whatever. And they were some concerns. And we haven't, the town staff or anything, we have not been involved with this at all.
No, because we from early on, we relied upon I think it was MML or Montgomery County anyway. It was Montgomery County rules and regs with respect to the virus.
Yeah.
And that is posted on the town's website on the top banner right now.
Right.
There's several items. I don't want to move my screen because I'll probably lose something here, but there's a link that goes from our webpage to Montgomery County's webpage, specifically addressing the COVID issues.
Yep. And it is though, normally when we have an event in the park, we go through the permitting and we make sure things are in place. And this has been a little different. It was just, it was, during the pandemic, they said we're going to do it, and it never went through us. And you know how when events happen, we normally say, hey, you got to make sure you have your police, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, that didn't take place. And maybe we need to review that and say, hey, we got to make sure, we are, when we issue a permit, because we normally issue a permit for use of the park, that they are following the guidelines. And there hasn't been, if I'm not mistaken, there hasn't been a permit issued or applied for. Does anybody else remember the permit?
Yeah.
Yes, there
Well,
is.
no, yeah, we got one today.
Yeah.
Okay, but
We
I'm
got
saying
an email. We got an email from Town Hall.
So if we have a permit now, we need to take a look at it and make sure that it's within the guidelines. What did you think?
Yes, I
Yeah,
would agree. Yes. Yep.
Do you want to review that now? We probably should.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it, so you guys will have to walk me through it.
Well, Preston, let me check. You may have been on the email. I'm not sure. Let me see which email they sent it to you or sent it to.
Yeah, I saw Preston's name on there.
It went to your Hotmail account, Preston.
Okay, and I didn't look there. I looked at the thing. That's fine.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I know it's inconsistent where stuff goes for you.
That's fine. And no big deal. You guys can look through it. I mean, it can't be that complex of a permit.
Yeah. Okay. So, name, organization, Whalen Park Field, Whalen Commons, date of use from March until November, 9 a.m. to 1:30. Okay.
Are you looking, Jeff? You're looking at the one that has a header park use permit above that?
Let me go up. Yes.
I think that was what was.
Yeah, I'm looking at what we got in the email today.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess, I don't know if it's an issue or not. I mean, it's as long as the park's available, but I know they've usually gone longer than 1:30. Sometimes they're there till, I guess, 3 or so, but.
Which is not a big
Whether
issue.
that's an issue.
As long as
Yeah,
it
I
does.
was to say, as long as the park's not being used.
Yeah.
Well, but we also,
Well-
but they're asking for every Saturday. We also have a flea market when we're able to in April, right? The wine tasting in May. There are other activities planned. So can we give them every Saturday?
I thought I
point.
saw somewhere in here that town, where is it? If you go to page 2,
Mhm.
where there's an addendum.
Yeah.
This permit is issued with the following conditions. Cost of this activity is being waived as the farmers.
Number
Should I read
2.
this since there's people on YouTube, or?
Well,
I mean, I know you guys can all read this yourselves, but should I read it to the people on YouTube?
Probably. Yes. I would.
Okay. So the permit is issued with the following conditions. Cost of this activity is being waived as the farmers market is intended to be a community-based activity comprising of individual vendors offering essential food goods locally to the public. If market dates conflict with any town-sponsored events, the market will need to be canceled, moved, or rescheduled. While this permit is being issued under a business name and not as a nonprofit, it is acting much like a traditional farmer's market in function. No driving or parking on the grass is permitted. This shall include setting up vendor spaces. Temporary signs during the event are permitted only during the duration of the event and shall be set up at the beginning and removed at the end of the event on each day. Not more than 2 sandwich board signs / A-frame signs shall be permitted. 1 banner is permitted on the grounds. Electric will be provided. Please ensure all lights for the town are plugged in when the event concludes. It is understood that some small farm animals may be brought on site. As such, animals shall be confined or leashed. All animal waste shall be removed at the conclusion of each event. A strict zero tolerance policy will apply to this activity and is subject to revocation of this activity if animal waste is not removed from the site. Number 8, as applicable, some vendors will be required to have approval by the Montgomery County Health Department. Nothing herein shall override any other county, state, or federal laws, rules, or regulations. Violation of any of these events is grounds for removal of the event or fines as prescribed in section 1.1. General penalty of the town code. Each violation could be a fine of up to $100 an incident.
All right, so to the best of our knowledge, has the permit hold, since they've already been having some meetings, are they operating under these items? Are they properly operated? Does anybody know? I mean, we don't have anybody to go out and
Well,
look at this and you know.
through observation, so the permit says foods, there's other goods being sold at the market. So,
Such as clothing or something like that, or
crafts,
blankets?
Like soaps.
yeah.
Are they homemade things? Because we had a resident who wanted to sell kitchenware there, and she was told she couldn't by the organizers.
Yeah, because it's
Like-
not a food product.
Pampered Chef,
Right.
they wouldn't let her go on, and she's a town resident. It also says no grazing of any animals, feeding of animals. And on the general rules, did you see guys see it? Maybe I'm on the wrong page.
Hold on. Where?
I'm under the permit, scroll down page 5, general rules.
Oh, yeah, I haven't got down that far yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can
Oh,
barely
that's
read it
okay.
off my
Yeah.
phone. No glass bottles.
Yeah, the part that I had read was just an addendum. I'm not sure where
Right.
the addendum came from, or I'm not sure who wrote the addendum up, but
Well, that general rules say no grazing animals and no feeding animals.
And Timmy, that was so people wouldn't park a herd of cattle, because
Well,
during
go ahead.
I'm gonna say during our summer events, we do bring in the petting zoos and everything like that, which is
Okay.
fun. But the only thing, you cannot have pigs in the park. Pigs there's no way you can put a pig, because it would destroy my grass. They root. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And we need to put something in there saying no pigs.
Well, they had some grazing animals out front for the kids as an attraction. Is that okay? I mean, I'm not against it. Just
No, it's fine, and it's just a limited. And I think that was actually written so people want to bring horses in, tie them off, and go to McDonald's and stuff like that. Because,
Okay.
Yeah, but so we've never had an issue with the farmers. I mean, not farm, but the petting zoos, which I think are great. That's great. It's just you got to watch the pigs because they will tear it up. And that issue, but like I said, when they say the permit, they said food goods, food, and or they food and homemade
Well-
product.
Well, listen, this,
the wording says essential food goods.
Essential food.
So
goods. Right.
Yeah, it says vendors offering essential food goods locally to the public. So we don't really have a definition, but I mean, it sounds to me it would be more like farm goods, I would think.
yeah, I mean, if we look at
fruits,
this,
vegetables,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean,
Apples.
Right.
yeah,
so
exactly.
basically get rid of the word essential,
Right.
and you have, vendors offering food goods locally to the public. You could say offering farm food goods locally to the public.
So do we have to follow Montgomery County rules for health inspection, food inspections? If someone sells,
And the
Prepared
permittee has to do that on their own. That's the number 8. Oh, that's right. You're not looking at the same. So number 8 says, as applicable, some vendors will be required to have approval by the Montgomery County Health Department.
okay, cool. As long as they follow our rules.
Yeah, Montgomery County says, I'm reading on their website now, anyone who plans to sell or give away food at a temporary event must first obtain a Montgomery County Food Service facility license. The only exception to the law is the sale of, oops, hold on, my screen just went dark. The sale of fresh produce or live crustaceans.
Crustaceans, wow.
But you always have live crustaceans at a thing,
At a
right?
farmer's market.
Crabs and lobsters, yeah.
Yeah, baby. There's no crabs on there.
All right, so listen, number 1 under this farmer's market permit addendum, I've crossed out the word essential and replaced it with farm. if we're gonna look at this, we might as well do what we need to do to it.
Oh, yeah, but might as well update it.
Yeah,
I think you might also want to add crafts, because when I attended the farmer's market on Saturday, I would say probably most of the sellers were selling crafts. There were, of course, a number of them selling food and baked goods and whatnot, which are quite delicious, really. And one table was selling caramel popcorn, which is also excellent. Yeah, but a number of them were selling face masks and, you know, different kind of things, which were not food at all. They were crafts, and they were homemade crafts.
And Jeff, but does that fall under what Montgomery County says they can do? I mean, it just, the farmers markets was one thing when you're feeding the population, and that was okayed by Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Now the crafts of it, does it fall within inside, their, what they have said is acceptable? I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that either.
And I guess we kind of need to revisit our definition of farmer's market that we passed or we discussed 2 years ago.
yeah,
Something like 2019.
1920, yeah.
Have we ever had a farmer's market there before?
Well, that was the thing.
Well,
We discussed it back in 2019.
Right,
We had farmers it's associated with our events. We had,
right. And crafts too.
and crafts, and I think that's fine. They're selling crafts and stuff, but what it comes down to, what is actually permitted by Montgomery County law during this COVID? That's what people are complaining about, that we are not following what Montgomery County has said is okay. You see what I'm saying? Even though we like it and everything, we think it's a great idea, which I do. Have we been following actually what Montgomery County, when it says you can have a farmer's market selling, food goods and, but not crafts?
Well, should we research this a little bit more and then give them a week or
I think
two?
that's what we need to do. We need to take a little time and take a look at it.
Have the town staff look into that?
But I agree. Generally, a farmer's market has crafts, homemade crafts, but it would typically not include goods that you're reselling. Like just to use an example, Pampered Chef, right? So those are not those are not homemade items. Those are items that are not made on a farm. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Preston, you brought up something that kind of, so this got approved, but because, obviously, I guess with COVID, but I still think this was something that should have come through the Parks Board. Like in the past, anything with, I can't remember what the number is, 20, what we had thought, but I think anything with like 25, over 25 people or 50 people usually comes through the Parks Board.
Yes.
Right.
And it was overrode, it was kind of pushed through because of COVID. And the thing is, it went on for a while. It was never, I can understand doing an emergency, get it going, and then, come back with a permit,
Fill in the blanks. Yeah.
And now we're at that point that we have to do that. Because it's been brought to our attention on there.
Okay. Well, then do we want to obviously it sounds like we want to look at this because I believe
2 weeks away, 3 weeks away.
Because it looks like it's got a lot of good stuff in it. I don't think we crafted it though, unless my memory is really lousy. So I think we owe it to ourselves to put together what we think makes sense from the Parks Board point of view, and then go forward from there. So you're saying next meeting, the meeting after that? I don't think we want to wait too long. 2 weeks.
Yeah, we will do the walkthrough on May 5th.
Right.
No, because the farmer's market needs to go. We just need to tighten it up. That's all. I want to review it and just put recommendations in. Once we have things clarified, we can approve it. Have town staff clarify what can be done, and then we approve it, right? Or can be approved. Yeah,
but now don't we want to? We want to make some comments on our own. For example, get rid of the word essential, replace it with farm. We want to make sure that in some prominent area we say no pigs. Uh,
Horses, cattle, goats,
yeah,
sheep,
yeah.
crustaceans. Oh, we can have crustaceans.
Yeah. So,
Otters.
What do we do? What do we do about the county thing? I mean, I know it's not our responsibility, but I guess, do we just let the cozies know or somebody know?
Well, they should
Because
probably.
I would
remember
say, yeah, I would, well,
Preston,
it's
you
kind of
were-
like what we said here. It's kind of like what it said here, where it talks about the fact that the penalty and fines if you fail to meet Montgomery County, well, we say it's applicable, so vendors will be required to have approval by the Montgomery County Health Department. So they're going to make that determination. So we don't need to worry about that. And that probably,
I mean, I guess I
you
could
could probably
Preston,
add,
you remember a couple years ago, Preston, you remember a couple years ago, or probably many people probably here do, we had Poolsville Day and the county actually came through and closed down
always do every year.
several of the vendors.
They
Yes.
check for licenses, yes.
I mean, I would hate for that to happen, not, if they start getting, if the county came through and started giving out fines to people that are, that have
Yeah.
made their homemade goods.
Right.
And these things.
So we should make the rules airtight and this,
yeah.
and I'm sure they'll follow it.
I think if you want to try and do something to help it a little bit, you can say as applicable, some vendors will be required to have the approval of Montgomery County Health Department. Poolsville recommends that, anybody considering selling food of any sort, contact the county prior to participating in the farmer's market. And that way you pointed them in a direction that they've come back and say, well, what happened? You say, well, you failed to read the rules and follow them. That's all. I don't know.
When we do the 4th of July, we tell, of course, every food truck or food seller that they have to get a permit from Montgomery County. And then the health inspector from Montgomery County comes on site and it checks to see that everybody has their permit. And then if they're preparing food on site, they check that the equipment is holding the food at the proper temperatures, and if there's anything stored before it's sold, it has to be maintained at proper temperature. So they go through all that with every single food truck. Right. And, so this is not unusual at all.
All right, now in that instance, Jeff, never mind. All right, so back to where do we want to set a deadline here for everybody to get squared away with this? I mean, Terry, it has some of your stuff in it in the next page 1 of 5, where it talks about the field rentals. I think are you on mute?
I was on mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of background noise here. So
Looks like where you're at, you're supposed to be having a lot of fun. You got some lights on and stuff,
so yeah, basically the addendum got slotted in between what I had written, which seemed like an odd spot, but hey, it is what it is. But
So,
yeah, basically everything else from like that part 1 of 5 down was the rest of the stuff that we had put together.
okay, that does ring a bell then in that context. So that means you
Was that
did
Terry?
1
Was
through
that back
5.
from?
Sorry,
I'm
Jeff, you
sorry,
broke up.
Terry. Was that from back in 2019 when we revised all the parks? rules and
Yeah,
regs?
somewhere
Did it
in
a
there.
while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we had, it was not, we had not talked about farmers markets at that point, right? It was basically just for the fields and pavilions and that kind of stuff. So 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
I mean, this one says page 1 to 5, Town of Hoopsville Pavilion and Park Rent and Field Rental Application, and it's headed July 2020.
I think it was revised in 2020 to accommodate something. I don't remember what it was,
Okay.
but it was a slight change.
Because I remember saying that now that you say with it, the way you did, I recognize the chart there as being an item. All right, so on the one where it says page 2 of 5, we touched that as well, right? Right, Terry?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me just pull it back up again.
Yeah, I want to make sure that if we do what we got to do, and if we're already done with this for the most part, then good. Still need to work on the addendum, but that's easier then.
Yeah, it looks like it's been consolidated a little bit.
Okay.
Terry, you were the point on having the most up-to-date document, weren't you?
At one point, yes.
Yeah, because when I went back and looked, all I could find our 2019 from May. I went back and looked through my emails, and in May of 2019, we approved a new rules and regulations for the Parks Board, or we recommended to the commissioners that they approve them. But I to be honest, I don't see, and then the commissioners, I don't know if the commissioners ever got them. You know, if they ever got the, you know, I think that was also, it was a time of turnover between Wade leaving and, you know, so, you know, stuff, I have no idea what happened, but I'm not sure if it actually got to the commissioners. So then I'm wondering if you had a newer version, maybe we need to make sure that that also got to the commissioners.
I'm looking, I don't see
It's just,
it
I'm
on-
just questioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't, I think that I had made one revision and then we had agreed to that. And then clearly there's been a revision or two since then. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if I can find it. I didn't see it on my work computer. So that means there is a chance that it is on my home computer here. If I can
Wouldn't
actually-
town hall have a record of it being approved?
I would think so. I mean, we
Yeah.
we
The Christmas
supplied
tree-
it to them.
Well, why don't we get someone contact the town and get the most up-to-date version of what they have for our committee, and then we can distribute it amongst ourselves and refresh our memories, and make adjustments as needed, and then come together in June with those adjustments.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's
I like
fine.
it.
I will reach out to the town and get what their most up-to-date recent version of our, what do you call it? Not a
Rules and
manifesto.
regulations. Yeah.
Rules and,
Parks regulate, yeah.
okay.
Can you find out if it was approved by the commissioners or even
Sure.
looked at? That'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah, because I know we definitely had a motion sometime in 2019 where we actually discussed the farmers markets of adding it to our rules and regulations.
Right.
And yeah, I think we passed that up to the commissioners or said we wanted it, but I'm not sure if it ever got to the commissioners.
Okay, I will do some investigating, and then whatever they send me, I will send to everybody. And then we will all look it over with our keen eyes and add pigs. We'll add no pigs and whatever else, and then come back together in June.
No pigs.
I love pigs, by the way, but
I'm a pig. They tear my friend. We've had them before, and they tear my lawn. Like,
well, and then we could, in June, we could sit down and put that on our agenda to just quickly make sure everything's in there that we want. But I'm taking notes for this meeting so that we will not forget your verbiage, Doug.
Thank you.
Farm food goods. Okay.
Okay. All right, so we'll roll that over to the next meeting. And that's, oops, hold on a second. What am I looking at? Oh, lost my agenda. There it is.
So are we doing
All right,
anything
so
then
any
with,
other old business?
I'm sorry, Doug. Hold on, Doug, so are we asking town hall then to, I don't know, talk with the cozies, or are we just going with what's happening on the I'm not sure what we just did, besides saying that we're gonna redo our rules and regs.
Yeah, well,
But I mean,
Preston, how is-
the concern was, COVID
Okay.
things and whether the farmer's market, Preston, what were you saying about the farmer's market?
Basically what they're selling and how they space and the people, how many people fit within Montgomery County's COVID plan for farmers markets and people. That's what we just need. And to make sure they follow it. That's all. Make sure they have the right guidelines in place.
And then,
Which I can talk to Bob.
how,
So
How
I was
are
gonna
we
say then,
going
does
to-
Kathy or Bobby then just contact the Cozies?
Yeah.
Cozy family? Or
Yeah.
my-
Preston, when you,
Alicia McCozy, yeah.
Preston, when you or somebody from town hall calls them, ask them to provide us with a second backup person or a first backup. Right now, she's the only one. And we have, if she's not gonna be at one of the days, we need to have somebody else to function as the person in charge.
Okay.
And then has anybody? No, never mind. Trying to. Do we want to consider telling anybody using our parks that it's their responsibility to maintain COVID protocol and that they should provide, I don't know, some level of information to town hall evidencing the fact that they did in fact follow COVID? In other words, every hour they go around, you just kind of count how many people do we have. All right, write it down. And you write, we got 50 people here and we're only allowed to have 25. That's a problem. But there's 20 here, we can have 25. That's good. We can stay here. Here's evidence that we took a count of people and such. I don't know, I'm kind of just spewing this out, and it's because of my background in regulation that I get that sort of perspective. But I mean, that's an alternative to us saying, oh yeah, we go ahead. If they're required to show evidence, they might think about it a little bit more and make sure they do comply.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly acceptable to hold the organizers of the event responsible for making sure they comply with the COVID requirements.
Right. But the next question then, that begs the next question is, do we require them to record it or report it, I should say, evidence the fact? Or do we just say you're supposed to, and we're not going to come out and count, but you're on your honor system?
Yeah, I like the honor system, but I don't think it works. So I would say yes, we have to have them do something to provide evidence that they followed it. Yes.
So you're on record saying the honor system doesn't work. Did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah, I would like to
Mr.
have.
Commissioner.
I would like to have some evidence that they followed the requirements, right? So, and if that's going around counting people every hour or whatever, I think that's useful right now.
Yeah. All right. So
Again, I shouldn't have said I don't think counter system more. I think we need more than that at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Preston, who you want me to call? Or do you want? We got to talk to somebody at town hall, obviously. And I don't know. And it's going to be.
We can both touch base with Bobby tomorrow. I'll give her a briefing in the morning, because I always see her. Then you can follow up with if she has any more questions or tighten it up a little bit. How's that?
That sounds good. Now,
And Gail,
Yes,
and if you have any input too, I mean, just, I'll carry whatever I got to do up to Bobby. You know what I'm saying? That's how we work things out. We go in as a group and just have some ideas and just make sure everything's in place, and then we'll work it out and everything.
Okay.
And so what are the current guidelines? Is it 50 people now at a baseball game?
The current Montgomery County guidelines for an outdoor gathering are a maximum of 50 people.
Okay.
And you can click on, this is Montgomery County MD.gov website. There's a special place for going with the COVID information portal. And then you can click and get more specific information about various categories like bowling alleys, car washes, and there's a whole list of things. I'm on this page right now, and I don't actually see farmers market. I see gatherings, indoor, outdoor, and I see farms. But I don't really see a category called farmers market. So I guess it just might require a little deeper research.
Okay. Well, if it's 50 people, then I will make sure that the coaches are aware of that and try to maintain that. I don't know, I'm not always there to check Stevens Park or the different fields.
Well, there's different requirements for sports. So there's a whole different thing to click on for sports requirements.
I still thought it was 50 the last time I saw, because it was like 25 parents or spectators, right? Basically two per kid, which would make it, if the rosters are 12, that makes it 24.
Mm-hmm.
So 24, 48 plus, well, actually it might be higher than that, because if you include the participants, right, that's going to be roughly 30. And then, yeah, so actually you're talking about probably 70 people. If it is the last thing I saw, which, 2 spectators per child.
Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now. It says updated April 2nd, so it's fairly recent. It says this is talking about baseball now. 2 spectators per participating athlete are allowed at a sports event, up to a maximum of 50 spectators.
Oh, okay, so it is a max. Okay.
Yeah, and if you would like me to.
No, it's fine, Jeff. I've got that.
You have it on the same page.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got a link to it. Okay. So I will emphasize with the coaches for PAA that there's a 50-person maximum.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Is there someone at the town who has easy access to the website, to the town website?
Kathy does.
Okay, because I'm like, if we're gonna start asking, you need to, no offense, town people, this is more for me than anybody, you need to kind of dummy proof stuff. So if you're gonna start saying, all right, we are gonna, if you're gonna use the parks, we're super happy about that. But here are the guidelines. There needs to be a clickable thing for people to look at. It needs to be made available to them. Just like with the sports, I know I can look on Montgomery County, but I mean, maybe it would be nice to have a link somewhere that would link people right to MontgomeryCountyMD.com for the COVID guidelines.
Hey, Gail, if you look at the town website,
yeah,
and there's a banner up at top, green banner, and then there's the bar that's going across saying something with respect to COVID.
yeah.
And it says click here. You can hardly see it because it's like green on green. But if you click there, it's on the right, and it should bring you to Montgomery County COVID, right?
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That way, yeah.
So in our verbiage, or whatever verbiage we're gonna put out about, or the town's putting out about using sports areas or the parks, we can refer people to, if you're not familiar, hey, use the banner, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because people always want to know, well, how am I gonna find that? Or you gotta make it easy for them.
Mm-hmm. No,
right,
that's
Preston?
Gail, you can make it easy, and it doesn't mean that people are going to read it, though.
Oh, I know. Harry, we're on camera.
That's that honor system thing, right?
Don't believe in it.
All right, have we put enough work on our table?
More.
All right, and we're looking for the June meeting to try and have our thoughts together and maybe even have some stuff that fits and is ready to go. Okay.
Yep.
Any other old business?
Didn't Jeff add something? Jeff, the stocking of the ponds you wanted to add?
Yes, yeah, yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually, yeah, yep.
I do want to add that. Can we, or is that now?
It can be. I had put it up, well, actually I had written it in, so it didn't make a difference where I put it. We can do it now, yeah.
Okay, well, oh gosh, I'm not sure if I forwarded this email to you, but I received an email from a resident, and I don't know if I should read it here, but it has, yes. So let me just read it. So I've been communicating with Mr. Eck and Brown about this matter, and it seems like it's never been addressed seriously. Poolsville has 5 or 6 ponds that are home to several species of fish. They've lived in these ponds for decades. Mr. Eck calls them retention ponds. Since the town has supported the ponds with the yearly stocking for the annual fishing derby, and a town employee has brought fish on his own, I say that the town has chosen to call them fishing ponds. Take a look for yourself. Families with kids, teenagers, and retired folks can be seen fishing on a daily basis during the warmer months. The town spends tens of thousands of dollars on the building and maintaining the hiking and biking trails through town. I've read that the town has $4 million in the bank. The town just spent $13,000 for fireworks that will last for 20 minutes. Surely the town can afford a few $1,000s to find an expert who can advise on the health of the ponds and how many and what kinds of fish that these ponds can support. Thanks in advance for your attention to this matter. I've communicated with this resident, because maybe 2 months ago, I spoke with Preston about this, and so Preston gave me some, a little bit of an education that these are basically stormwater management ponds, and the fish that are in there, are for eating the algae, that kind of thing, and so I don't really know what to say or how to answer this gentleman, because I thought I had answered it, but maybe I didn't. So if someone else wants to take on the
Let me make a suggestion, because Preston could go for a while, because it's a lot of information that he's got in his head about these things. But is this a wacky idea to say, Preston, 2-minute summary of what's going on at this meeting, and by virtue of the fact that this meeting is public and you point somebody to it, so he didn't have to write it up again or keep dealing with it.
No problem. Okay. Our ponds were designed to be stormwater management ponds. They weren't designed to be fish ponds. The fish are in there of a byproduct. They would never hold large numbers of fish. They are there through incidental. We'd never put them in there to start with. We stock 1 pond a year, put and take. We put fish in that are taken out directly at the tournament. They do not reproduce in our ponds. The cost of putting large fish in there is cost prohibitive. And on a sidebar after work, I caught over 100 fish in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I don't think there's anything wrong with our ponds. There's plenty of fish in our ponds, and I can catch fish 5 out of 6 ponds. So once again, we have one citizen that's causing this. There is plenty of fish in the ponds. We do our best to maintain them, and we do the best to maintain them as storm water ponds.
So we have stormwater management ponds.
Yes, they all are stormwater management ponds.
And as an added benefit,
yes,
unintentionally,
yes,
we have fish in them
yes,
to provide the leisure activity of fishing.
yes.
And we can't control how further down the road that's going to, what I'm saying?
Because
Okay.
we do have people who harvest and eat them. And when that
Yeah.
happens, you would never have, truly a large population of, larger fish. We have ospreys that come in and eat them. We have otters that come in and eat them.
Mhm.
So, it's not conducive to be a trophy fishing pond system. But it does its job well, controlling the stormwater runoff.
And it provides a great opportunity to look at the environment on a smaller scale.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Nice.
And the money he's talking about cannot be designated for stocking fish. It is designated for other things. You can't use it for stocking fish. The fireworks didn't come out of that $4 million either.
No, certainly not.
And
Well, the allowable uses are respond or mitigate COVID-19 health emergencies or its negative economic impact, to provide essential workers with premium pay. Number 3, cover revenue losses as a result incurred because of COVID emergency. Number 4, to make necessary investments in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure. Funds may not be used to support any pension fund or offset a tax cut. All funds must be expended by December 31st, 2024. So yeah, you can't spend it on fish.
No.
Right, so hopefully that'll provide some explanation to
Yes.
both the gentlemen and even any poolsville member.
Yeah. I will give it a go.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, Preston will be happy to add additional commentary. But I think it was a pretty good summary, and it should stand on its own.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I'm happy with that.
And
Okay.
just as a side note,
Yeah.
February's meeting is when Preston gave the really, really in-depth talk
Yes.
about the stormwater management and the cost of, we had multiple estimates, I think, for
And that's,
different stocking different fish. He
that
talked
should be
about how,
recorded.
the sport fish can't be supported over a long time, all that stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just
And
FYI, I
that's-
think February is
that's
a lot
on-
of information.
And that's got to be on YouTube as well then,
Yeah, it is.
because our meetings here and YouTube are both available then.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Preston, we can't control what runs into those ponds either.
No. And that's the biggest thing. They're designed to capture pollutants.
Right.
Okay? That's not. And once again, we're fighting nature. We're concentrating any pollutants, fertilizers into these ponds, which is not conducive to raising large, healthy fish. I mean, we have healthy fish, but we would never have the Bassmaster ponds. Even though I do catch 5-6 pound bass out of those ponds, they're there. But just the person wants to, every time he puts it in, he wants to pull, 5 pound bass out. So, but anyways, that's where it's at.
All righty. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Any other old business? All right, new business, which is kind of old at times issue. So scooter rentals. Jeff Eck, this was one that you had spoken about a couple of meetings ago, and I said I'd take the handle and try and find out more information.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I don't have much for you here. I went to one of the 2 or 3 most well-known, and I can't think of what their names are now, but I've ridden these things in Texas and Austin, and I've ridden them in New York City. Basically, if you wanted to use, set up a system or an area, you could go to these companies and they would, get you set up with scooters and chargers and this and the other thing. But you have to be much larger than what we are as a town.
Okay.
So they effectively, they have this thing that says, if you are interested, please, text your interest here. So I texted my interest here and set it up, and boom, phone number and everything. Figured I'd get a call back or something, just whatever. I think it was either later that day or early the next morning. I said, thank you very much for your interest. However, this time you don't fit our requirements. So that's a nice way of being told, hit the road, Jack. So
Yes.
that's where it is. I mean, other sidebar commentary is I can tell you that I'm working more in DC this last few weeks, and there's the George Washington Bridge between that and the Potomac. There's this one lone scooter out there with its green light flashing, and it's been that way for about a week. That means that somebody's got to go pick that up, get it back to wherever that is. Well, I've seen those in New York City. They actually take one of the scooters and they build a little trailer behind it, and they're they're buzzing back, getting that. They stop somewhere, they pull out the batteries at the one, they put batteries in the next one, et cetera, and on their way to go. But and where they have a tendency, like most things, like bikes and people, or they congregate in large beneficial areas, and it's never, in my mind, that they don't look good in especially in New York City and larger cities. I think that it's a distraction, and that's my personal opinion. But what I could or couldn't do doesn't make any difference because we're not big enough. So,
Well, thanks for trying.
Parks and reopening fields. I think, Terry, did you have something on that? Or by the way, I apologize. Thank you for the heads up, but nobody ever called. So you were taking the brunt of it all, I guess.
Yeah, yes, I was. So the problem that I will tell you that I've been fielding complaints from a bunch of the parents, and it started mid-March, right? Because Montgomery County opened their fields, permitted their fields starting, the 15th of March. And I know that, there was a few issues with our parks and opening them on April 1st, which, at that point was a week before the season started. And I have, yes, as I said, fielded a number of complaints. I have told people to reach out to the commissioners and the Parks Board with their complaints. Clearly, nobody has. It's centered around that, because I know that when Seth was here, the discussion was, we're going to follow the county kind of approach to opening the parks. I'm like, okay. And then, whatever happened this year, and it turned into the 1st. So anyway, that's kind of the.
Yeah. And Terry, you got to look, this was a strange year.
Oh, I know.
At the time we had a strange person running the ship. Okay. So next year, Terry, in the past, the bathrooms normally aren't open to April 1st because of freezing issues, but the ball fields we normally get in, playable condition. Now we did have the ice storm the second week in March, which kind of threw wrinkles in getting the fields safe and proper. If you remember, we had the ice and stuff.
Right. Oh yeah.
March. So, and that's really what dictates really when we can get the fields open and safe. I got to have time to get in there and make sure, but anyways, but normally we can, and I don't mind having the opening date this, the 3rd week in March. We can do that, but the bathrooms are still a question point because of freezing weather, which we can have through the end of March.
Yeah, I don't think Preston, I didn't hear any complaints about the bathrooms. I think people understood that.
Oh, they're like me. Yeah. I'm a baseball man. If it's 60 degrees, I'm on the field. I don't care if it's February. You understand?
Right.
And try to tell some of the coaches, you can use the fields. You're just not permitted to use them. I mean, you can go take your crew out there and have fun, go to them.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? But next year, this is an unusual year.
Yes, right. And I was hoping that it'd go, back to the norm.
And the leadership is going to change again, and then we'll, Terry will get you guys where it's right.
Terry, when do you want the fields to open next year?
January 1.
It's 70. It's based on 70-degree day.
Are you going down to Florida?
But
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But I think March 15th is a good target date. That, midway through March, which we have to be flexible because our snow, the moisture.
Weather
Absolutely,
permitting.
right.
Wet
March and
fields, yeah.
April are always, weather permitting.
Yeah, but I think March 15th for the fields, and then bathrooms are open April 1st.
Okay,
And I think
All
that'd
right.
be real workable. Don't you think, Terry? I mean,
absolutely, I do.
and once again, if the weather pattern dictates, we try to get the drags out there and try to get the fields somewhat, so if parents or, some team gets together, it's like, hey, man, come on, we're going to run some fun now. It's playable as soon as
Right.
the weather dictates it. But
Yeah,
it's playable.
I tried to allay some of their concerns, by saying, there's been a lot going on at town hall. So,
Yes.
for what-
Well, anyways, next year, Terry, I always try to work with you guys.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
we'll be back on track next year. I'm sure of that. And then,
Okay.
But I think, but I don't think we've ever actually had a hard date on opening down on that, and on seriousness.
No, it's always been, we've always shot
Kind of-
for mid-March, and, sometimes it's a little earlier and sometimes a little later.
But a permitting, I mean, we shouldn't issue permits before the 15th. Wouldn't you agree?
That I agree. Yes.
Okay.
Like if they're going to issue them on March 1st, it should be for starting March 15th or
Yes.
Yes.
March 5th with the / depending upon weather.
yes. Right.
I have no problem with that. I think that's the right way to go, Terry, all the way. And we just next year when we do the permits in January, it's like, hey, this is what we're doing. March 15th, bathrooms open first, depending upon weather.
Okay.
That'd be a good way to go. All right.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Skate park painting or not painting. Do you know what the update is with that, Preston, or no?
No, I thought they were still looking into what type of paint but
Oh, really?
there are a lot of people on not a lot. There were people on the bandwagon to do it, and this kind of faded away.
Yeah.
But
That I saw. Yeah.
I love the idea, but I think we should paint hundreds of sunflowers on it. Just make it a big sunflower. And I'm being serious. I think that'd be so cool to have sunflowers on that out there. So, but anyways, we haven't had any more contact from the people who wanted to do it.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it's at.
Could we reach out to them, see if they're still interested?
Not that I know of.
No, should we? Noah and Cage. That was back in November. Wow, they came to us.
Yeah.
And once again, being a messed up year, things just haven't
Yeah.
flowed,
Okay.
smoothly.
So if they just magically appeared, say, one morning, it'd be like, well, okay.
But like they're teenagers or something?
Well, whatever.
Wow.
But Gail, don't you think a nice a sunflower pattern would be cool on that?
Well, I was thinking that Preston King is the epitome of cool. So, he would be on the pulse of that, of what teenagers think is cool.
A big mural of his head right in the center.
There we go. There we go.
I think you let the teenagers tell us what's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Within reason.
Within reason, yes, of course.
Yeah, I take the old man approach.
I mean, you're not on TikTok, I'm sure, Preston, so you are not cool.
You might
You
be.
haven't seen my videos, have you?
All right, as we degenerate here, on to probably, it could be one of the most important items this meeting, and that's the fiscal 22 year budget. In short, there is we have an account, we being the Parks Board, that has approximately $83,000 that we can spend on capital improvement projects for our fields and parks. So I think that Preston has put pen to paper and knows several things that I think he'd like that would help.
Yes, yes.
And,
And, actually, the couple things that we started last year, I started replacing the wood fibers in our tot lot systems. We did Brooks Park and Wooten tot lot. We had extra money because of the COVID and stuff. We had money sitting there, so I said, "Hey, let's do this." And we redid the fall zones, and we made them rubber mats, and not mats, but rubber, shavings, and they look great. They're safer. They last. The color lasts for 10 years, and they give us a 20-year, life expectancy on it. Little pricey, yes, but it looks so nice when it's done. So with that said, one reason I wanted, we were talking about doing a walkthrough over at Dr. Dillingham Park. I would like to address that park, that big tot lot there with the rubber mulch, and then also Stevens Park with the rubber mulch, because Stevens Park normally holds our summer program, and that's a heavily used. And all the Terry runs a lot of baseball events through there, and that park, doesn't it, Terry? Got tons of people in it during the games. It's really a high use park.
Constantly, before and after the games.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so anyway, so with those two parks, it's not cheap. And normally what we do every other year, we bring in wood, because see, the wood fibers break down, and they rot out. And what happens every 2-3 years, we put normally $2,500 to $3,000 worth of wood chips in there. And then also with the wood chips, it becomes a maintenance issue, because being wood and stuff like that, we have weeds grow up, and it's a higher maintenance thing. But when we come in with the rubber, and there we put a membrane down over the existing mulch, because we don't want to interrupt the drain fields. And then we bring a layer of the rubber, virgin rubber chips in there, and then it is there for 10 to 15 years, easy, if not more, on that. So over a long span, we do save money on that, time-wise, maintenance-wise, and aesthetics are unbelievable. And if you guys want to take a look at it, the Brooks Park and the Wooten tot lot, we have done already. And so now to do, it's going to be like $18,000 to $19,000 per park to do the two big parks in town. And then that will leave Perkins, Elgin, Lori Gore, and the smaller parks. What we need to do is start pricing those out, so we can do those in the next 5-6 years. Also, that's something Jeff and I can talk about when he's looking at the long-term budget. You know what I'm saying, Jeff? We can kind of look that out. But with this money, actually, there's enough money there. I could do all the parks, but I don't know if I could swing that. I don't know if the budget people allow me to do that. But my two I would really like to get done are like I said, Stevens and the skateboard park. And another thing about the skate, it's very visible to everybody, the public. And I would like, once again, me and my sunflowers and the new rubber mulch in there, man, it would be a nice park.
Preston, you said there was what, 20,000 for the two, or
20,000?
No,
$18,000 for Dillingham, 18 to 20 for Dillingham, 18 to 24 for Stevens. So a total of about $40,000 I would need approximately.
Okay.
And I can get you some better numbers. I just need to get a better measurement.
Sure.
And I like to, like I said, get those two and then start, outdating, getting the other ones turned over. And if I have enough money, and we were supposed to do Halmos tot lot, but we stopped that one because we were actually putting a new bathroom in. And if they have to move something, I didn't want to disturb that.
Yep.
And that's a smaller tot lot. And then another one, it probably, Stevens 1, Dillingham 2, and then Bottomer tot lot's another big one I forgot about. That would be the third one I would look into progression wise to get those down. Right. So I'm looking to get the three big ones down at about $60,000 all three on there. So that's something we would like to move to. People, they really like the rubber mulch, and so mulch, but the rubber play material is probably a better word for it. It's not moss, it doesn't break down. So anyways, with that said, that's my big, not a wish list. We need to get it done. And it's for the safety of the kids, the aesthetics, it's really a nice way to go on that. And then we have, I have 3 trucks coming on board. They the last person that was in charge took stuff away, and then apparently when the budget's been redone, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that are there. So we're going to move ahead with purchasing my snow blower, my tractor, a 72-inch mower, and then I lost the replacement of a truck. We're going to bring that back online, and then I have 2 more because we have a 10-year life cycle of our vehicles. And the 3 vehicles that are being replaced do need to be replaced. And we have shown a little flexibility in the past by bumping them. If they're in good shape, we've kept them longer, or we turn them into emergency response vehicles, which limit their miles on it, but it's still a good vehicle to do that. So anyways, we're going to replace a 350 flatbed and 2 350 dump trucks, if everything goes well.
Okay.
I had a meeting with Wade today. He's redoing the budget for everything, so he does know that. Also, I'm moving for. I would like to have 2 6-month employees again, and 2 3-month employees for summer help. I was reduced to 1 6-month and 2 summer help, and I still can't figure that out because I've actually had more area when Tom's finishing TAMA 2. There's more and more area, and then we have West 4 coming on, and there's a lot of area, and it requires a lot of handwork on that. Anyway, so basically, like I said, the rubber mulch, 6-month employees, my vehicles. Actually, something else I'd like to look at is I'd like to put another pollinator patch in at Collier Pond, and that normally to get the initial getting it ready is about $2,500, $3,000. Like to have that put on the board. And then something else that I don't know how we're going to address it is actually I took my wife and I took a bike trip through the town. We started at the water treatment plant, went through TAMA 1, TAMA 2, through Elizabeth, went by the pool, went down the sidewalk, and then we can't get into Stony Springs. There's no crosswalk, there's no ramp, there's nothing. And to me, that's just kind of the natural, and the traffic was rolling through there. So I think if we can press the state and maybe call share or something to get a crossing in there. And I know in the past they said it doesn't warrant it. Well, but what if we sit there, we'll meet them halfway and we'll pay for it? I don't care. It needs to, and there's kids coming across to the pool out of Stony Springs. There's no crosswalk.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's something I would like to maybe get some pricing on, or talk. Saying, Jeff, that's something you guys commissioners can talk to the people who own that road out there, and they say, well, it doesn't warrant it. Well,
No, I agree. There's a lot of kids in that new neighborhood. I've seen ladies pushing the baby buggies, from the pool and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm glad I did take the bike ride. I helped build the thing, but I've never rode the bike. It's a nice system.
Well, yeah.
We can move people through, but it's like, this is just like a blatant danger, unacceptable zone, and somehow we need to address that.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, Barty in the summer, Barty takes the kids to the pool like 1 day a week, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to go all the way through Elizabeth to Light.
So you see what I'm saying, Gail? It's one. I don't care if the state says doesn't. No, it needs to go in, and I think Jeff Eck would be the man to push it through for us.
I think with the fire department behind them.
Yeah. But anyway,
I was just going to ask. Yeah, I was going to ask Jeff about that. Does the fire department have any weight with respect to some of these road conditions and risks and so forth and so on? They have. Are they listened to at all?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never been involved in that aspect of. I really
fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
And the one, I don't think it's so much I don't know how we're going to handle this too, is with Westerly Ford, the new development over there near Westerly over there.
West of the Grove.
Actually tying that system into our existing bike system, trail system. And I don't know, because I know one thing Seth was trying to work on was get a grant to bring the sidewalk all the way up from, I think it stops at Hoskinson, and we got to run it all the way up Bottomer,
Yes,
right, to
Yeah.
tie in.
yes. I frequently run there and it is like dangerous.
So you know what I'm saying, Gail? So
Yeah.
I would like to bring that straight down through,
Mhm.
and I don't know where, I don't know how Seth, I don't know if he pursued it, or if he had anything in place. But Jeff, that's just something I think as a Parks Board, we should start budgeting out, and so we can get a sidewalk to tie in. So once again, we can complete that nice loop through the town. And actually, I think, well, I don't know if it's scheduled or not, but along West Willard or soccer field, we have a sidewalk that ends if you come all the way down Westerly, and it just ends. But if we take a left and go down to the neighborhood, and then
Yeah,
it's you know what I'm saying, Gail?
Yeah,
That-
I asked about that. I sent a letter to the commissioners about that before I was on this board, because I see a lot of people walking, running, riding their bikes there.
But we own it now. That's
Oh, we
a-
do, okay, because
Yeah.
that was the thing that we
We
don't
own
own
it
it.
all the way
Okay.
down.
Oh,
So
yeah.
once again, if we're talking about budgeting, I'd like to get some numbers up and say, okay, we're gonna start putting money away so we can get that sidewalk all the way
Yeah.
down.
That'd be
So we need to
great.
be able to try to connect the new neighborhood with the high school.
Yes.
Well, we've tried by the high school for many years and we've just deaf ears. Yeah, maybe if they do the renovations, we'll get a sidewalk from the high school. And connect that whole area.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a couple things that, sidewalk wise and didn't we put a thing together, guys, on sidewalks in the town
We did.
Yes.
Did, yep.
Yes.
and stuff like that? So, but anyways, that's something I think we've kind of dropped the ball in general, is putting money. Let's get some money, get things, a plan together so we can start tying in. Like I said, I had a great time biking, but I saw more potential, a couple safety issues out there, Gail, and you see them while you're running.
Yep.
Out there and everything. And once again, it was still fun. It was great.
Yeah.
A few things that we could tweak to make it safer and make it, just make it more of a connected community all the way around.
Plus, we need a plan so we can get state grants for this.
Yeah, and if we have it in place, you're right, Tim. That's the
Yeah.
thing. If you have things in place and also money, project open space or sidewalk money, say, hey, here we go. We got everything. We got the right of ways ready to go. We got a plan. It's estimated to cost this much. Here you go. And I think we really need to get together, and the planning commission meets here soon, is to see where they're at with, our trail systems and our bike system, and especially in how we're going to tie in the newer developments. So anyways, that's just something to go about. And like I said, we need to start putting some money aside for that. And I don't have any numbers, but that's something I would look into. So, and start, like I said, I'd like to have some money start set aside for the rubber matting for these playgrounds.
Okay.
And if I can get in some of the 83,000, I'll do it. I'll have it done this winter time, because my crew will put it in during our slower time.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's something to think about, guys, and approach the commissioners about.
Hey,
Russ,
Doug,
yeah,
I've got a couple
yeah.
questions.
Yes.
So for the CIP funds, is that use it or lose it, or does that roll over?
That just rolls over. It's just been slowly building up.
Okay, good. And the other thing I was curious about is we are funding the replacement for the bathrooms at Halmos, right?
Yes. Well, we got a grant.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not
Oh, awesome.
mistaken, we got like an $80,000 grant or something like that. Bobby hustled us some money.
Excellent.
I think. Don't hold me to that one, but I'm pretty sure that, which accelerated the project. But see, we had a plan in place.
Right.
See, Terry, I think we need to redo Stevens Park personally. I would like to see that put in place, have a plan, and it give you an actual real kitchen and, the whole thing.
Bigger. So you're thinking bigger facility, but even though that Halmos, the bathrooms really, really need work, and that whole, is it the pump area that is holding that up, or what's?
No, it's going. It's happening.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
It's
Good,
been
good.
approved. It's, I think
So
within
that's
next
moving
year.
ahead. Okay.
Next year, Helmos is going to be a new bathroom. And what they did, they took the model of the one that's over at Elgin Park.
Elgin,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Now,
Excellent.
actually, like that had that it used to be where they used to sell stuff.
Oh,
concession stand
that was not a concession stand. That was
Now,
basically
so-
closet.
Yeah, and that facility is just going to be bathrooms, nice bathrooms, hot water, the whole deal. On that's going to be mirror that one. But see, Steve is where you make your money at. I think we should start planning to upgrade. Just redo that because that has no heat in there. It's all open. The birds get in there. I think we need a new structure there. And I think that was built in '82. Is that right, Terry? Something like that, 82, 85?
It's long before I was here, brother.
Me too. And see, they do have their life expectancy, and I think we need to start seriously sit down and have a meeting with all of us what we want and expect out of that, and get a plan up and get some pricing up.
Yeah, I think if since the Halmos bathrooms are already in the
Solid.
works,
Yep.
then yeah, Stevens would be the next structure to if you could widen it, lengthen it. That would work out.
We have plenty of area there.
And-
We could do some different things there.
Right.
And see, that's also
And
figure
Kathy
they-
would work. That would
well,
work
they
for
run the
Kathy in the
summer
summer
program,
program. Yeah,
but they have a little closet thing,
exactly. They got that little middle area that
which is
really
half-
need more space.
Yeah, and once again, if we do it, we can expand it. We have the room, and we can tie it into the summer program, sports program, and then just the bathrooms for the overall use.
Right.
No, it won't be a cheap one, but it's I think it will be well used and justified. That's the word it'd be justified to upgrade that.
Well, sure. And with the people that use the pavilions for parties and whatnot that are asking for power or
Yes. And
running water, whatever.
And actually, when you do that, you tie in pavilion improvements, lighting, power,
Right.
maybe even a spigot with water out there for cleaning and the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think when you do something like that, a little extra tie-in would go a long ways. With that, it would make it a nice nice park. So, anyways, there you go.
Preston,
Yes.
Can we go back to the sidewalk?
Yes.
Could you give an estimate offhand what you would think that would cost to run that?
Well, actually, I heard some of the numbers they were coming up with. It's like $250,000.
Okay, so it's out of the 83,000 that we were looking at that we have control over.
Yeah.
However, because we're not spending all of it, we can argue that we have a plan in hand and we match or maybe find a matching grant. But okay, it not this year, maybe in a couple.
Right, but we need to get some seed money and get a plan together. That's what we
Yep,
need.
yep.
So that's something we can work on next meeting and kind of get
Yeah.
things together.
Okay.
Hey, so Doug, on that sidewalk, can we do an initial start? Because you're going to have sidewalk coming out of the new development.
Yep.
If we got it down to Hoskinson, where Hoskinson we have, at least I know that there's sidewalk.
It's
Yeah.
there. That's what we need to
If
do.
we got,
Yep.
I'm not saying we don't need all of Bodmer. We don't need to take the whole thing all at one time. If we
Right.
took that little bit, then you tie it into the other sidewalks, and then
And it-
you've got more of a biking area. A biking.
And so it's something that we can. I'll talk to John Strong about what he has on that. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So do we need to do anything, recommendations to the commissioners for the Dr. Dillingham and Stevens with the rubber to
I'll
take out of our CIP?
yeah,
money?
I'll call Wade tomorrow and tell him what
Well, do we need to all agree? I make a motion, that kind of
Oh.
thing?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I say we go ahead and allocate the money that would be needed for Dr. Dillingham and Stevens Park for the rubber and, for lack of a better term, mulch to take out of that CIP 83 grand.
Were
I'll
we
second that.
including Bodmer too?
It would be nice but that would
If you
tell,
want 2 or 3, Preston.
I could be greedy in 3.
We'll go
I'm
for
just
that.
saying,
So
hey,
it's not-
hey, but you know what's funny? You know, you figure it truly is for the kids' safety, and if we have the money there, I would love to do the 3 big parks, and then then the smaller ones I can work out of my budget, or we can start, start working our way. You know,
Let me, Preston, where does the equipment come from that you're looking for? Is that out of your budget too?
what's that, sir?
Your equipment, the new equipment you want to order?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that out
already,
of your budget?
that's already been budgeted in. They've been putting money for years, 4 or 5 years.
Right. What I don't remember is whether it's your money or the parks money. You as having your staff and your trucks and all that stuff.
Yeah, right. Okay. No, that the large vehicles come out of a different fund. It has no effect on my parks money.
Okay. All right. So you could do the 3 large parks, roughly spend $60,000, and you still have roughly 20,000 left over in case something comes up that we need it
Exactly.
now, as opposed to waiting for it or needing to allow them to be able to wait for it. Okay.
Yes. That would really, if we could get $60,000, and if I bet you if I buy in that bulk, I could get better price too on the.
So
What does it cost?
you,
Where do you buy it, by the yard?
You buy it by the ton, and just for an example, I did Wooten Tot Lot and I did Bottomer, and it cost me $14,000.
Brooks.
I mean Brooks, yeah, Brooks and Wooten.
How many tons was that?
That was, let's see, 18. I bet you that was a ton of bag. We had 18 bags, almost 40,000 pounds. So 40 tons, basically.
Well, let's
80
just go ahead and
80,000.
push all 3 up to the commissioners that we can recommend it. And if the commissioners want to cut back to 2 and budget for the 3rd park, let's go that way.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And the more we buy, the better off, and we can do the smaller parks.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's my motion. Let's go with Dr. Dillingham, Stevens, and Bodmer Park with the rubber substrate, whatever you want to call it.
I'll second.
Yeah.
With the caveat of the more we buy, the more parks we can do at better price.
right.
And like I say, we save a lot of money because my crew puts it in.
Yeah.
And we always schedule that stuff for January, December, January, which is normally my, slower part of the year. And it worked out perfect again this year.
So who seconded that?
Terry.
Terry.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Who was taking notes again?
Dale.
Thank you.
Gail.
Put this up top so I don't.
So we're figuring the approximate cost to be about 60,000.
Yes, sir. And I'll try to have a more solid number. I just got to do the measurements, call the people and tell them what we're doing.
You're gonna get a bargain, 18, right? And then you can have the pollinator park out of that remaining. That's
There you
your
go.
incentive.
Yes.
And then we can have sunflowers.
We put a sunflower on the side of Preston's truck.
Oh, that's an idea.
I'm big enough I can drive that. It wouldn't bother me.
Oh, I'll get a decal tomorrow for them.
That's fine. That's fine.
There we go.
See what I can find.
Little spray paint, Timmy.
And you can even make them pink sunflowers. I'm not worried about it. It wouldn't bother me. So, all right. Hey, there we go, guys. Good productive meeting all the way.
Yep. So,
Okay.
anybody have any other new business that was not on the agenda or we need to talk about?
Preston and I talked about this early today, about putting in lights, crossing lights at the 107 and 109. We don't own that road, but a lot of people walk through it. And those lights on 107 are working great, crossing the field lights. So we can look forward to down the road. We'll have to get a hold of State Highway, but we can work on that.
Now,
Maybe down-
which intersection?
With the bar.
Right at the barber shop,
At Bassett's.
Bassett's, the gas station, health place.
Okay. All right.
We can
Yeah.
get some kind of lights there because people do cross that a lot.
Yeah,
I
there's a
walk
lot
in
going
there.
on, yeah.
Yeah. But the other ones are working great.
Yes.
One on 2 on
They are.
107.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good.
And Timmy, I talked to when I did my budget with Wade
Mhm.
thing. I had mentioned doing the one at the elementary school at Woot now,
Right.
and he says it looks like the circle is going in sooner than later there. So
No.
Really
yes, yeah.
We got a,
fantastic.
I don't know, we got an EMS guy here. I don't know. Fire, he doesn't want that.
Yeah, I saw the traffic monitoring device out there the other day.
Yeah. But that's going to give them a false reading because we don't have the ferry in operations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
And COVID, how many people aren't going to work still?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. You're going to get some false numbers, guys. It's not going to be a true thing. So maybe they don't take that in consideration. I don't know. We'll see. You know how statisticians can make numbers do strange things.
Hey, now you're talking
Yeah,
about
my
my
wife's
work.
a statistician. I'm just telling you. And she does that checkbook too. I'm just telling you, those numbers look awful funny to me. I'm just so anyways. All right. Anything else, guys? And normally at this time, Gail, we're doing the budget. We'll have members of the board, if they have things they've seen or would like to look into, this is a good time for you to say, hey, what about this, guys? And we can kind of.
I do have something.
Okay, listen, and what do we got?
Good.
I don't know where the space would be for this, but a disc golf course in town somewhere. If we had park space somewhere, maybe it would be out. It might have to be outside, but it's a sport that like anybody can do. Age range, old, young. It doesn't cost a lot of money. My husband has installed one before, an 18-hole course before. And I was like, well, how much does it cost? And he was saying, I think it was like $3,000 per tee pad. And if you did a 9-hole course or a 10-hole course, but it's just something that we're a pretty active town, right? People are outside all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just another activity to do that doesn't require a lot of money and that the whole family can do. It doesn't require a lot of time. So it's just been in the back of my head, but I don't know what to do with that.
So how large of a field or parcel or do you need to have to make it 10?
Good. Yeah, to make a
let's say.
9-hole course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to get him to give me more numbers because I am not a statistician. I'm like, let's spend the money. You see how I did that for you, Preston?
There you go.
But I can get more information and bring it back to you.
Okay, yeah, I'd be curious to know, and can that space be used for anything else? In other words, my initial thought is, okay, soccer field, nothing really going on. We put these things in, but they're metal and they're put in, or I don't even know if they're metal anymore. Maybe they're flexible so that nobody gets hurt.
My son plays it, Doug, and it's almost like having a golf course. The distance throw. It's
Okay.
It can be rather long.
My husband throws like 300 yards the disc.
Okay, so you definitely need some acreage, yeah.
So I mean, it's better if there is more room, and like there were some trees involved to make it more challenging over water. It's not just a matter of going on the soccer field and throwing the disc.
Right.
But I really think our town lends itself to that sort of activity. We're just outside people, we're always out doing something, and it's just another thing for the whole family that they could do.
There's people outside all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like all the
With
time.
COVID now, I think it has highlighted how we do have a town that is connected through the biking system. There's parks in place. We have things that are almost perfect quarter-mile circles and people out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
Pickleball people, my God.
Yeah.
They are in there. It's great. I mean, that's been one of our better things that we've done. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really sure about it, but it truly is. They're out there today. The seniors.
Hey, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
I just thought of something we discussed a while back. They asked about, for the pickleball courts, they asked for the wind screens.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we know? I know we talked about it, but I don't think we ever did
No,
anything about it.
no, we didn't. And one thing I don't like about the windscreens, it does kind of give a hidden aspect to it. And once again, we're an open park system. Kids get in there. I think it would lead to vandalism issues with that. That's my personal thought behind it. I don't think it'd be cost prohibitive, but once again, it's I don't know. We can look into it.
Yeah, well, I was just curious, is it just, I didn't ask them, but I mean, like you guys know, my dad's one of the people that plays all the time over there. So he's the one that stick it in my head. Hey, did you guys talk about this? But I don't know. Is it just one side that you put up, or
Well,
that I don't know.
Yeah, like the predominant wind is normally the north wind, and that's actually on the other side of where they play. Would it even be effective?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we'll look at it. Windscreen for pickleball.
Jeff, he doesn't want to.
It's a netting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a netting. It almost looks like the stuff you put over your pool. So, air can kind of go through it, because you can't have it solid, because it would just, you ripped it, but it just, it breaks the wind down to a manageable level. So,
Right.
Okay, we'll look into that.
If it is something that we find feasible, I mean, if we, even that CIP money, if it's $2,000 or whatever.
Hey, Jeff, do me a favor. Ask
Potentially.
your dad if he's been to any other parks that has it, so we can take a look at it, maybe. You know what I'm saying? If he knows of any other
Yeah, I'll
parks,
touch base with him.
if you don't
I'll
mind.
touch base with that.
Okay. So, okay.
Well, Jeff Eck, you're next. Well, are you done, Preston?
I'm good. I'm solid.
Okay. So, Mr. Eck, you're up.
Yeah, so the commissioners meeting took place on April the 5th, and we did talk about quite a number of items. So just going over, we approved the closeout of the fiscal year 20 budget, and apparently we were a little bit behind in doing so. But I think Wade and Bob, you're going to get that all closed out with Montgomery County. We also talked about, I attended a meeting of the Montgomery County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League, and as I'd done several times before, and the Montgomery County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League approved a resolution calling on the Montgomery County Council to improve to improve the funding of what's called a tax duplication. So what happens is, the taxpayers in Poolesville, for example, pay taxes to Montgomery County. One of the items, just one example of several, is that Montgomery County taxes all the residents of Montgomery County for parks. And however, in Poolesville has its own parks. So basically, we're paying Montgomery County money for taxes on parks, which we do not have. So the idea is that Montgomery County is supposed to give that money back to the municipality, being Poolesville, and well, the reality is they don't. So, and parks is just one example of many things like that. So the idea is that the Montgomery County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League wrote up a rather lengthy resolution with several dozen, maybe not several dozen, but probably 20 or so whereases to encourage Montgomery County Council to increase the amount of refund that municipalities in Montgomery County should get. So that's on that, and hopefully, now I'm attending, is it tomorrow? Oh my gosh, I gotta look at my calendar. It's either tomorrow or the next day that I'm attending the Montgomery County Council meeting where the Montgomery County chapter of the Maryland Municipal League is presenting this document. So we'll see how that goes. Also, the commissioners are in the process, early in the process of filling the town manager position. So at the previous commissioner meeting, I volunteered to write up a town manager description. So I looked up a number of documents, the existing one, of course, the existing job description for the town manager, and wrote up a completely new description for the town manager, which we are then going to use as a document, in terms of finding qualified candidates. So the other little part of that discussion was, and I don't think it was really decided completely, will we hire an outside agency, like a headhunter firm, to find candidates, or will we find candidates on our own by placing ads in various magazines or newspapers, and also using things like LinkedIn, Indeed, and there's many others like that. So that's that. We approved money for the Poolsville 4th of July fireworks. Now, of course, it's not really confirmed, or it's not really known if the Poolsville 4th of July fireworks will be able to take place or not. We are proceeding with getting all the permits. We already had the site inspection by the Montgomery County Fire Marshal Inspector out at the location which we've had the fireworks there for many years. The site was, of course, approved, and I sent the paperwork in for the Maryland State fireworks display. And then once we get assuming we will get the permit from the state of Maryland, then we use that and apply to a Montgomery County permit. So that's underway. There was a request to fund post-prom, and two things happened. So the lady that was presenting the information requested the funding of $2,500, which was approved. And then on top of that, Jim Brown, which maybe you have seen, Jim Brown made a post on Facebook, and quite a number of individual companies and individual supporters are contributing to make up the balance of what the post-prom people need. I shouldn't say post-prom, because it's not post-prom, because they can't have a prom or something like that. But anyway, it's called a not post-prom or something on that order. But anyway, they're going to have it at Kaliva, and they're going to be very social distance, only a certain number of kids at a time. And then they go on a bus, they come back, then the next load comes in, and that kind of thing. So it's very well organized, and I hope that they get all their funding. I hope they meet their funding goals. I'm rather confident that they will. Jim Brown's doing a great job on encouraging people to support it. We also talked about hydrant flushing. So various neighborhoods are going to have the hydrant flushed, and it's on the town website, which neighborhoods are which dates. And then of course they're also told that if the water is a different color, just run their tap for a certain length of time and the water will clear up again. We also talked about appropriations for fiscal year 2022, which is the next budget coming along. And we talked about 3 different projects, the I&I, so that's what's it called, inflow and infiltration. And there is a significant issue with infiltration. When it rains heavily, then the water gets into the sewer pipes and it ends up at the wastewater treatment plant, and it causes them to be really near capacity, or sometimes even over capacity if it rains really hard, for several days in a row. That's definitely an issue. So we want to do, a project is required in order to line the pipes so that when it rains, the rainwater doesn't get into the pipes. So that's a pretty big deal. It's an ongoing issue, has been for a long time, and it will continue to be for a long time because everything ages and technology changes and hopefully improves. So yeah, this is something that needs to be done. Anyway, so we have more discussions on that coming up. We also talked about a community center, and I have to say Jim Brown is doing an excellent job on fair access, and quite a lot of money was approved for the Poolsville High School. And on top of that, the Fair Access Committee wants the Board of Education to also fund not just a renovated gym, but to build a completely new gym, as has been done with pretty much every other high school renovation or building in the county. So we don't want to be underserved in terms of having a new competition gym and which can be then subdivided for other purposes. So they're pushing along on that. They're also continuing to push for the community center. Likewise on that, Jim Brown also gave a rather extensive, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to repeat very well, update on progress, or maybe not so much progress on reopening White's Ferry. So you probably have seen more recent information on Facebook than I would have anyway. So hopefully the ferry is going to open, but the expectation right now is it's not going to open in like really quickly, possibly even into next year when things get straightened out. Knock on wood, knock on wood. Okay. So and then also, so the third thing in terms of appropriations was, well, first one was I&I, second one was community center, and the third one was streetscape. You're probably all familiar with streetscape. And did I miss anything? Let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. I guess that's everything I wanted to cover, I believe. Questions? No questions, okay.
Nope. That's it for our agenda, unless anybody has anything to add. Or
I had the pleasure of meeting Governor Hogan the other day, and today's Monday. Oh, what day is today? Yeah, today's Monday. I had the pleasure of meeting Governor Hogan last week, and maybe you know, or maybe you don't know, I am now a COVID vaccinator, and I'm with the fire department. So I'm a volunteer COVID vaccinator, and I'm assigned at the Montgomery College Germantown campus. And Governor Hogan came into my vaccination room, so we did the elbow bump and we took a picture and all that kind of nice stuff. So yeah.
You didn't get to give him a shot?
No, he'd had that already weeks before. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice, Jeff.
That's cool, Jeff.
It was, yeah, it was nice to see. Nice to see him showing his support here in Montgomery County. He was accompanied by County Executive Mark Ehrlich.
Ulrich.
Yeah. So how many vaccinations can you get done in a day?
Me personally, it can vary. The site is typically about 1,500 vaccinations. However, that was before it was kind of a soft opening, so to speak. And it's now, as of last Thursday, it was before that, it was not designated as a mass vaccination site. So they were doing their soft opening. And so I'm there again tomorrow. I anticipate, I don't know the exact numbers, but we're supposed to ramp up to 3,000 vaccinations per day. Wow. And I don't know if that will happen tomorrow or not. I don't know what the numbers are when I get there at 7 a.m. and then we have a briefing on what to expect for that day. So right. We'll find out then. So it was previous to that, it was a county site, and then as of last Thursday, it switched over to being a state-run mass vaccination site. So yeah, that's okay.
Cool. Very good. Anything else? Well, then.
Move for adjournment.
Adjourn.
Somebody that I get everybody.
Second, third.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And anybody opposed? Motion carries. Have a good evening, everybody. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too, guys. See you later.